Also excited to get my hands on this series, Shopify Rebellion versus Spacestation. And Shopify, let me tell you, after games 1 and 2, they did not expect to find themselves here. And I think they'd be quite surprised had they stepped into a time machine and woke up here. They'd figure, how did this happen? And to be honest, they might even be feeling that way right now because they get reverse swept by Optic Gaming in their first ever LAN debut against one another. And now they have to fight for their lives against SSG in the elimination bracket.
And of course, we've seen these two teams play against each other in this tournament. It was the pick your opponent. Shopify Rebellion said we want to play Space Station. It looked reasonable when we got to the end of that series with the 3-0 that they delivered. But there would be nothing worse than going into a match with Optic that everyone's been looking forward to, getting reverse swept, and then SSG come back after what we saw earlier and win that. That would be big questions for Shopify Rebellion. So they need to get the job done here. And trust me, with the way that Lucid was speaking on this couch, I think SSG are fired up to play against Shopify Rebellion once again. This is your Elim Finals series layout. We're going to start off with Strongholds Live Fire, StelluR Aquarius, King of the Hill Recharge, CTF on Fortress before, if we need it, that game 5. Fist Bomb's already going down, by the way, everyone. We're getting straight into this.
I like how we've just been teased by a new map game type in like each series somewhere plays. Yeah. We'll have to see if we get to it this time. It's going to be game number 4 in this series if we get to see CTF Fortress. But now we will start to load in because your game number 1 is going to be Strongholds on Live Fire.
250 points to win. Every single player on this stage will be very familiar with this game type. But will Space Station be able to show us a little bit more than what they did earlier when we saw these two teams matching up? It's an opportunity for them, I think, just to remind everybody that that series wasn't the real Space Station. This is what the real Space Station is going to look like. And like we mentioned, from the way that Lucid was speaking on the couch a little bit earlier, he said, watch this space. It might not be perfect right now, but give us a little bit of time and we'll show you what we can do.
Underway now then. Elimination final, and this time it's SSG who's already fought their way through one opponent in phase in the elimination bracket. Perfect slide coming in from LastShot. Eventually he's cleaned up, but now also going to have to fight through Shopify Rebellion, who, as we said, expected to be in the winner's bracket at this point. Expected to send as 3 will fall for Shopify. Optic Gaming down, however, in case you just joined us, Optic Gaming reverse sweeps Shopify to continue on. Now Shopify must take down Space Station to stay alive.
This is looking like an early triple cap opportunity here for SSG, and even though C is being moved back towards the possession of Shopify Rebellion, it's a nice little confidence boost just to start the game with map presence, with scoring on your side for SSG. Royal 2 wins a 1v1 against SnakeBite. That will always be weird for me to say.
Maybe a third kill hoop coming in. Royal 2 tries to do it and does it. Triple kill. It's going to get the back whack there. The melee to close it out. 2 dead still for SSG, a staggered 3 dead.
Love that from Royal 2, by the way. Gets the double, lets the camo come back. He knows the attention's away from him, doesn't try and force a situation. And now off the back of the triple kill, you can see that even though C is being flipped, it's B and A that will go back to Shopify. They will be scoring for the first time.
I gotta say, you heard Royal 2 talking about it earlier. There's kind of a beauty right now in the meta of Halo Infinite where it has to be fast, except for the brief moments where you need to play slow and strategic. And honestly, it's a really nice balance right now in the current meta of the game where you need to know exactly when to take your time with a certain situation and then right away, foot on the gas again. It's been beautiful to watch here, 27-16 off the opening in favor of SSG.
It's been great to see, self-proclaimed amateur player Royal 2 and future HCS commentator Royal 2 taken back to the main stage.
We need to keep him on the sticks because that man is gunning for our jobs.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Hopefully he has a big series here. A and B going to be in the hands.
Rooting for Royal 2 from now on.
Yeah. 30 points on the board here. It looks like the ends are going to be flipped here by both squads. So Space Station playing for C in the tower, and it looks like Cykul and the rest of Shopify Rebellion are going to try and focus on maybe turning B back into their control.
Yeah, they do not get C. They actually lose LastShot over at C. So now going to have to once again try to fight through this. It will be B first. QT will also go down. And with 2 dead, Cykul knows he needs to stay alive. Luckily, he gets a mud spawner to help out. And that will be BC in their favor. Oh, here comes 3-man push. Don't tell me he
has the QT. That could just give him those away frames to stay alive a little bit longer than maybe Space Station would have wanted, and now that multiplies into an opportunity here for them to not just reset, but to get the kills onto SSG. That is such good play from Cykul. Damage is one thing, survivability allows the rest of his team to get in that fight, to take down Space Station, even though he has to be sacrificed. The time he bought for that fight to be won doesn't show up on the stats.
Lucid eventually taken down there off of what was a back and forth and about 3 separate slay cycles required to finally maybe get B here. StelluR's going to finally fly in and finally capture it. A very, very prolonged battle at B finally goes to the favor of Space Station.
Royal 2 now, camo and snipe in his hands. Frosty picks up double kill, which means that he's not even going to have any targets to fire at for a few seconds time here. And B will be converted back into the hands of Shopify. 71 points and rising for the red squad in this series.
Kill is easily cleaned up here. Oh, nice bodies him as well. StelluR is forced to retreat all the way back to Keydor. Now they know there's a little bit of a battle here at A to fight. 3 of them alive together. It's going to be a big...
Oh my goodness! Royal 2 just sent the reticle wherever and it hit StelluR.
Fraction of a second to hit that shot, and of course he does it. You already get the feeling, right? Make no mistake, year 4 is not a... It is not going to be a sleepy year. We are going to have a highlight reel year with unbelievable plays, and as you can already see, results as well. It was a momentary trip cap. A will now go over to SSG. It's Shopify scoring at 106 to 130.
And now we get to see Frosty with a sniper rifle, and this man has been playing some Halo today. When he's had this weapon in his hand, it's been headshot, body shot, quick scope. Everything has looked good for Frosty, having these power weapons back in his hands consistently. He's moving in towards A. C is being flipped by Spacestation, but this is going to be continued scoring here on the side of Shopify. They might even be able to contest C. No, not going to happen. But Frosty, that's going to take a long time to get that bullet out of the helmet of Eco.
Yeah, that thing is lodged, to say the very least. Beautifully done there. Obviously, everything was going to focus on B immediately thereafter, and because he gets that pick, it allows his team to then fly right into B, and it feels like, so far, as the scoreboard indicates, Shopify is playing one step ahead of SSG, a 100-point lead here.
Last player alive is going to be LastShot, though. It's SSG who finally pick up a few kills themselves. B and C means scoring will go back to Spacestation. The first time in quite some time we've seen them with a little bit of a control over the map, but even though they convert B, even though they pick up some kills, the spawns happen towards scoreboard, and that means that Shopify are now in a position to grab this camo, at least contest for it, and Cykul and LastShot will pick up a couple of kills. It's a 2v2, but Frosty gets away with the camo.
Oh, trying to eagle eye, very nicely done, almost.
It's a good trade.
Though. Yeah, it's a good trade for Eco as well. Right?
Yeah.
The fact that he is able to get that damage there, not an easy angle to get the melee. Somehow he gets a melee on the same angle that he got back whacked, and I'm not even going to start to do the math there.
I'm not doing that.
Leave that math. Yeah, leave that geometry to StelluR, excuse me, in the game. But now BC holds still in favor of SSG, and they have climbed back in this game quite a bit. This is about 40 points unanswered.
Shopify, though, you can see they're flipping C. No trade there for Royal 2 as Eco will pick up that kill. StelluR's trying to keep him alive as well. Challenges Frosty, wins that individual fight. So Shopify find themselves 2 dead, and Spacestation continue with this 2-cap. The game and the gap is starting to close.
So the pick up here as Eco starts to wrap. Nest these 2 players, big door, but very narrowly and very wisely gets out of that engagement. He has help here at C Plat and Cut, so should be able to see his shield recharge and re-challenge once again.
Spacestation play for the ends momentarily. They will have A and C, but look at this flank. He just went straight over top middle here, LastShot. Managed to kind of scythe his way through the setup and the attentions of the Spacestation players. And by doing so, has found a way to get B and the reset, get C and the reset at B will be made here by Frosty and the rest of Shopify. Now he's got that sniper back in his hands. It's a full one as well. 2 bodies hit, 2 kills picked up by Shopify. Spacestation on the back foot once more.
Target-rich environment for Frosty. As soon as you saw 2 players on bags and Frosty's at B, guess what? He's going to connect with both of them. Might even connect with the third!
Oh my goodness! Frosty! Eco came off spawn. I was like, it's not going to be one of those spawns for Eco. He misses the shot, and then I'm like, okay, Eco. Then he just gets absolutely blamed by the no-scope from Frosty.
Unbelievable. He's 16-8. And
what are you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2025.
Triple cap here for Shopify Rebellion. Frosty does not move an inch after one of the most insane no-scopes you could possibly ask for. SnakeBite goes down as well. Killing spree, but not all killing sprees are made equal.
My word, finally he's taken down, but not before going 18-9 in this game. That triple cap was devastating. Now up 213 to 89. Frosty on an absolute tear.
LastShot taken down by StelluR, but he gets beaten down on his way through. Doesn't get the stick onto Frosty. Other players falling around the map for SSG, and it's all Shopify at this point. Even though Spacestation are momentarily scoring, it's another camo that goes over to the side of Shopify. And you're talking, Lucid said, we need to get weapons. We need to get power-ups. They're not getting any of them in this game.
Unreal here.
Enemy team scoring.
And it feels like this game was just only separated by about a 30-point lead off of a decent comeback from SSG, but that has been silenced and all but shut down. Finally, Frosty will essentially get a burn on the camo. But now this would be quite a story if SSG is able to get back into this, really in any regard. We'll see if they can put some more points on the board.
Cykul lives. Lucid keeps outputting damage here. It'll be a couple of kills, 3 of them consecutively here. The flank coming in from Frosty.
Ooh.
It's a big individual. Lucid plays his life, doesn't over-challenge this. B not being completely converted, though finally it is. And Lucid now has the flank onto the Shopify spawners.
I like that from Lucid. He knows this is too high stakes here. At a different stage in the game, Lucid probably re-peaks that. However, in this one, he realizes if they want to win this, they need to play some absolutely outstanding Halo. Finally, it's traded out. 3 dead StelluR, last player alive, back B.
Yeah, Lucid wanted that kill. Maybe a little bit too much in that situation. Didn't have to chase quite as hard. Could have let him live, just can keep control. Think about flipping that stronghold back over to the side of Spacestation, and off the back of it, the triple cap is in effect. C is going to be turned over by Spacestation, but look how far up the map the Shopify Rebellion already are. Sniper rifle again, hit for Frosty. Another body, make it 2. LastShot says thank you for the double kill, Frosty, as he now turns his attention back to A. Shopify close it out. And the man in the bottom right of your screen just put on an absolute highlight reel.
Went 22 and 10 in that game. And I have a feeling the replays are going to be lengthy because it was just an absolute show from Frosty. And just when it felt like SSG was getting back into the game, they go on an uncontested 40-point run. This man is cool, calm, and collected. And like we said,
freakishly good.
So good at the game, and still, despite all the success, you could tell he's one of the players here, really every player here, of course, what I mean is one of the top of the league, that wants to remind everyone, right, on a brand new team with brand new talent, just what he's capable of. And I would say going double positive in a game like that would certainly do it. 22 and 10 with 8 assists.
8 assists alongside it as well. I mean, you take the 8 assists on their own,
right.
it's more than 3 of SSG managed to put on the board. It's more than one of his teammates managed to put on the board. You know, he really was doing a huge amount of work, and the damage stat backs that up. The only player to break 6K damage in that game. Frosty, that game number 1 belonged to you.
I mean, unreal watching him play. Like I said, feels like we're watching highlight reel, and what better to do than watch a highlight reel of that game?
I mean, that shot from row 2 was pretty impressive itself, but this one.
We'll talk about, man, when your team's spawning the scoreboard in A, just rip the guy at B for an easy push. Just beautifully done. Knew exactly where he needed to be at all times.
So impressive. This is more Frosty POV that we're watching right now. Just these bodies onto top middle. You know, he's just immediately cleaned up. LastShot picking up some easy doubles. That's the missed shot. Eco's like, cool. And he's like, not so cool.
He's like, next time I won't use the scope.
Yeah.
The scope has betrayed me. Picks up another one, by the way, and he wasn't done yet.
This shot, like,
insane.
Just,
you had a feeling he was going to hit it too, and then guess what? The dummy shot as well.
It's poor old Eco.
Oh,
like, what did Eco does nothing wrong. He spawns into a no-scope across the map, and then he just gets absolutely blamed by a flick from Frosty.
Even worse, that was SnakeBite, and then Eco got killed. Eco dies at C plat. Just unbelievable, just taking out former teammates. Next up, Slayer Aquarius is going to be game number 2, and game number one is a blowout, 250 to 111 in favor of Shopify. See if SSG can slow things down and maybe get a little bit of a grip on the map.
I think in Shopify, you remember this Slayer that we had between these two on Recharge, it was not close between the two teams. It was a blowout on the side of Shopify Rebellion. We'll have to see if SSG, have learned a few things from that Slayer, how they played certain situations that allowed Shopify to be so dominant. LastShot's chilling, smile on his face.
Just having a good time.
I can imagine the Royal 2 just said, make sure you unjinx as well afterwards.
Yeah.
That's why he's
no counter jinx.
Yeah, no counter. So, excuse me. I'm not learning.
It's okay, we're visual learners.
Visual learners. Open Microsoft Paint.
It's the kind of, it's the kind way to say what type of learners that we are.
Slow.
We really haven't learned.
Steady. Inconsistent.
Never learning. SSG versus Shopify Rebellion, game number 2 is up next. As we said, this is going to be your Elim final. Got to win this if you want to get back into the bracket and have a chance still for the championship. Starting things off with Frosty after an unbelievable 22 and 10, game number 1.
Well, the name of the game here, quite simple. If you're a member of Gen Z, slay. 50 kills to win. Camo goes to Cykul off the rip here, even though the kills go on the side of Spacestation. Should be able to trade one out. StelluR, though, does a good amount of damage, and the trade immediately comes in. That's good signs. 3-2 here for Spacestation.
A little bit scrappy off the rip. Kills being traded out. This little 1v1 here will be traded out as well. That'll bring us to 5-4 off the opening. So quite neck and neck. As you said, a lot of respect shown off that opening break. It's already Lucid on the 3-kill mark. Royal 2 on the other side, 3 kills as well.
Something to keep an eye on for everyone at home as well. The first time that we see a 3 or 4 dead situation, what happens after that? Does it start to pile up and multiply into a 10, 12 kills swing on either side? That's the level that we're expecting now from these players and teams. You cannot afford to consecutively lose deaths in these games, in this game type in particular, because before you know it, not only does the lead change, it almost becomes insurmountable.
Absolutely does. Still neck and neck here, just 8-7. Big battle here in Pig 2 for control of the map. SnakeBite, king of screen watching, knowing exactly what's going on his teammates' screens. And now here things slow down just a bit.
Slowed down indeed, 8-9, only 1 kill difference between the two teams. SnakeBite just waiting for info, waiting for damage before he makes his move. StelluR will find a trade with Royal 2 on the car side. Camo coming up in a few moments' time. SnakeBite just looking for bodies at the moment. LastShot is no shields, gets taken down, and finally, having made his move, he's going to be rewarded. Another player should be traded out here. Did he get stuck? No, he didn't. He's got that thrust, but Frosty somehow still puts in maximum damage before he goes down. The kill gets traded out. Royal 2 now top middle. Lucid's trying to stay alive from the attentions of LastShot. He's not going to be able to, and again, Shopify pick up the kills at just the right time. The camo will be grabbed by Royal 2. He gets away as Shopify go into a 2-kill lead.
Yeah, that's a big camo grab, and you could tell that both teams were trying to play call there. And as you said, the game slowed down so much, pretty uncharacteristically, to be honest, here in a game number 2 Slayer at the 8-9 mark. But it was really just neither team wanting to give up any sort of advantage prior to this camo. And to be honest, aside from the camo itself, which could be devastating right now, there hasn't been a clear lead established. Still just a 2-kill game.
Neither team yet to fall 4 dead as well, which I think is why it's staying so close at the moment. StelluR will be finally taken out. Camo has been a difference maker though. Again, another trade. It's still 2 kills between the two teams.
Like you said, camo, generally, when you have a player like Royal 2 with it, even on a map like this, you'd expect a few more kills and at least a bit more damage to come through. But in the end, it's still just a 3-kill lead. And I think it's showing you just how much work has to be done on the map at this level of Infinite when you're looking at the 4 best teams in the world. Nothing has been easy for these teams, right? Nothing, with the exception maybe of the kind of the runaway game that we just saw in game number 1 of this series. Largely, any movement across the map has not been easy. You've had to work hard for it. Now, finally, just a 1-kill game as Spacestation keeping this one close. One
thing to just highlight is the man on your screen right now, an outlier statistic, to say the least. Everyone else in the game is kind of hovering around even. Royal 2 is 11-3 at the moment in this game. He is the reason that Shopify were in that lead, but speaking of which, Spacestation have now stolen it away. They go into a 1-kill advantage. A couple of players trapped on the fridge here for SnakeBite to try and deal with. Cykul's going to be close. He's got that thrust though, and again, that just extra half a second of survivability allows Royal 2 to come back into the action.
Stays alive long enough, but in the end, they will be traded out 3 for 2, so Royal 2 able to do some damage, but finally SSG gets not only those kills, but the lead as well. It's a good opportunity at the mid-game to get into a listen-in with Spacestation Gaming.
Blue shrimp, one shot. One shot, yellow P jump. Yellow P jump, one shot. Yellow fire, yellow fire.
Yeah, one shot, Frosty, front yellow.
2 front yellow, guys, 2 front
Front
yellow.
yellow, going yellow P jump.
One shot, 2 yellow P jump.
Royal 2 as well, Royal 2 as well.
It's all 3 P. Yo, front blue. 2 guys front blue.
Walking at it.
Yeah, I'm going car one,
I'm here.
Yeah, they're front blue, guys, they're front blue.
Yeah, and Camo's here as well. I needed it.
Blue P. Bottom mid. That's Camo, front yellow, guys.
Yellow gen going
I'm dying from blue.
Just one shot front yellow with Camo.
All good.
He's bottom mid with it. Just walking in blue.
It's one blue fridge.
4 seconds of camo. Should have waited out.
Yo, I just spawned here top blue. They saw me. They spotted me.
One shot blue bridge, dead.
I want to look
P2, we killed that guy. P2. One shot P2.
P1 as well.
Cycle's one shot or wall.
Our wall and 2 P1.
Yeah, I'm going
Take time. They're pushing you. Their whole team is there.
Last shot's one in the fridge.
Thrust is up.
He's literally in the fridge.
Two guys.
Two. One shot.
Cycle's one shot. B-stairs, one fridge.
Yo, go yellow gen. I think the guy front yellow.
Tommy. Challenge Shen in a second. Okay, hi, car 3. Frosty, one shot, car 1.
Where's he going?
Front blue somewhere. Two there. One shot, car jump.
There's 2 there, Kevin. 3, maybe 3.
No, 3. Yep.
They're both weak. One more.
Not P.
Car one still. There's another one. Behind you, blue car. Car one. 2 of them.
I died.
There's 2. Blue car 1.
Car one.
Careful to chase.
Both ones. Still one. Yellow door. The Cycle's on nets.
Guys, I'm out P1.
Cycle's car 1.
Hide in P1.
One hit car 1.
well.
Want to get everyone alive.
Cycle's
5 kills the difference now as we jump out of the listening. It's Shopify Rebellion who have that lead, but Lucid with that kill not being traded out, turns it into 2, and all of a sudden, Spacestation find a little bit of life, but again, it's just when something looks good for them, Shopify just immediately shut it down.
They really do there. They had a little bit of nice ring around the rosy bait and switching kind of happening ping 1 for a little while, which has kept them in this game. But like you said, Shopify has managed to eke out just, a great example there, has eked out just a few more kills to maintain this 7-kill lead.
3 dead. There's only been a couple of times in this game where that has been the case. The last one we saw was in the listening that we just heard, where Shopify Rebellion managed to turn what was essentially a tie game into a lead in their favor. And now we're seeing it happen once again right at the end of this game, which might be the reason that they can close this one out. 41-34, still time for Spacestation to formulate something here.
Like you say, not over just yet. Gonna have to be very careful with the way that they try to poke and prod here the damage, and they do get the opening damage and the opening pick, just trailing by 6.
Cykul looking for a trade in this situation. Not gonna get it though. Lucid finds his kill. It's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. And now it is just one team fight away, a clean team fight, 4 kills for Spacestation to turn this one on its head.
Has to be said, SnakeBite getting that damage P1 opens the door for all of that to happen. It's really beautifully done there as they get that opening damage. We'll see if they can do it again, but 2 fall.
And LastShot just got 2. LastShot just picked up 3 kills out of nowhere. 4v4, LastShot gets first pick. Follows it up with a double kill.
5 minutes
He is so
remaining.
good at that. At just finding the opening, finding the opportunity to get a kill that now gives them that cushion back once more.
I couldn't agree more. The speed at which he and Cykul are able to identify those opportunities, and like you said, before you know it happened in the kill feed, and we don't even get to see any of it off screen. That's how fast he got those 3 kills. And just like that, they're not done yet. 46-39. It's a 7-kill lead with only 4 to go.
Frosty finds another one. 3 now to go here for Shopify Rebellion to close this one out. And in these final moments, they've just started to run away with things. 2 kills now, all that is needed for them to go up by 2 in the series. And put Spacestation on the brink of elimination. Eco last kill, no shields. Frosty will be credited with it, and it's Shopify Rebellion who go to the good up here with a 50-40 win on Aquarius Slayer.
World 2 18-11 in the end. Smile on his face, and this team, smile on the face of B-Man in the back as well. They're feeling and looking good here as they close out the game. 50-40 in the end. It's a comfortable 10-kill win.
Yeah, let's hope Royal 2 does that a few more times so that he doesn't take our jobs. Good job, Royal 2. He should keep doing this video game thing.
Yeah, stay with the game.
For sure. 18-11, like you mentioned. Frosty, another positive performance from him with 12 assists, by the way. 12 assists, 11 and 8 and 12. You give me that stat line any day of the week, I will bite your hand off.
You give me that stat line, I'll be a much better player.
Yeah.
I usually don't have those stats. In the end, take a look at damage as well on the board. Just shy of the 5K mark is StelluR on the other side, actually out damaging everyone on the side of Rebellion, but in the end, all that mattered was the teamwork. And I think, like you said, take a look at some highlights here. It was plays like that from LastShot that really, you blow things wide open. In a 4v4, he just gets a random triple kill. We're on board with SnakeBite, and we have no idea how it even happened.
Yeah, it's very strange to see that, right? I mean, obviously, he's probably playing off of some damage initially, or maybe he just wins an individual, whatever it is. It turns into the attention being dragged away, and he can get 2 more kills off the back of it. It's 1 kill that breaks the game open. It's 2 that solidify and really stamp down that advantage.
This was huge. Frosty stays alive connector, and yes, Eco picks up 2, but guess what happens bottom mid? Take a look at this. They totally get wrapped on earlier in the game, and just the way that Shopify is able to kind of stagger their deaths and make sure that the damage that they get as the last 2 players alive is almost always capitalized on by the spawners was pretty remarkable, and it allowed them to just essentially run away with the end of the game.
Now we move on to King of the Hill Recharge. Last time we saw these 2 teams match up, it was not pretty. Shopify, in that oddball that we saw against them earlier on Recharge, really did not look troubled whatsoever by Spacestation. Now it's time for Spacestation to maybe take a page out of Optic's book and try and think of a way to turn this series around. But with the way that the first 2 games have gone and that first series, Andy, it looks like Shopify Rebellion are on their way to booking a date with a rematch with Optic Gaming.
Yeah, right now looking so good and showing absolutely no signs of slowing. And gotta think SSG is going to need to dig deep here. They've already had a lot of things to be proud of in this tournament today, but the only thing on their mind at this stage would be how do we turn it around on King of the Hill Recharge. I will say, with the nature, when you think about the players on SSG and the nature of a King of the Hill Recharge, right, you really can. It's a game type where they will have the opportunity to just truly 1 death, 1 hold, 1 slay rotation at a time to try to get. I can't do that.
That hyperflex, don't act like that was normal.
I can't do that.
I can barely lift my arm above 90 degrees these days.
I would describe that as alien. That was crazy.
Can we get a replay of that?
That was wild. No wonder he's so
What a
good at
talented
Halo.
man. That's how he can hit no scopes like that.
lizard.
That's how he actually hits the no scopes.
That was crazy.
Oh, that is some serious flexibility being
I
shown
thought
by
I
Frosty.
was-
My shoulders hurt watching that.
Don't even know what I was watching, really. But an opportunity here for the side of SSG to take this truly one rotation, one kill, one hill at a time to maybe try to get back into the series and try to send it the distance. We just saw Optic reverse sweep, so we've already seen one this year on LAN, and now an opportunity for SSG to do it as well. It will be a long road, but it is one they are interested in traveling.
A little bit more of a straightforward game type as well. I think it's fundamentally obvious what you have to try and do a lot of the time here on King of the Hill. You know, you're playing for those certain positions on the map, you're holding certain angles, and it takes a lot of the confusion, the clutter maybe mentally out of the brain that maybe SSG have been struggling with a little bit in those first couple of game types. We'll start with Frosty. It would be rude not to. This man has been electric so far in this tournament, and he's going to get a camo for completely free?
We'll have to see. I mean, yeah, I don't understand it either. He does get the camo for free. We'll have to see where. I think he needed Shock as well. We'll have to see exactly where Shock landed, but my goodness, they completely abandoned camo, and what a non-traditional start.
Enemy team took the hill.
I have to see if that... I'm not quite sure what happened on the side of SSG there.
I'm going to say that's the... Yeah, already Year 4 is has had some surprises. We've seen a 1-0 Aqua CTF. And on top of that, we just saw a completely uncontested opening camo.
We don't need this.
On recharge as well.
Well, Shopify, who are kind of fighting and have the majority of control of pipes and glass at the moment. Stick comes in, though, for trade from SnakeBite. Nobody really stepping inside of that hill as yet. Nobody's really had full control to do so.
It's going to be 3 dead momentarily. 4 dead for just a second. SnakeBite is your first spawner. They're going to be a tower spawned and Hydro. They're going to try to make a tower push, but right away, the Shopify pressure comes right on, and it's even a nice little nade from Frosty, just doing his thing from the front right bat. And that'll lead to the next 2 kills as well after the 4 dead. This will be continued time.
Look at the info that Frosty gets as well. You see the first 2 kills go down.
Oh,
Now he pre-fires!
Oh, and pre-fires this one too.
This guy seeing the game in 6D. We knew he was alien, and now we had proof of it.
Beautifully pre-fires the stack and knows exactly the angle that he has to force them into. Eco was the last player alive from SSG. He's taken down. It's another staggered 4 dead. Shopify looking to make this series a quick one.
It's going to be 1-0 camo coming up. Spacestation not really in a position to contest for this one either because they're all on the back foot. They're trying to play for that next rotation, but look at the space that they've just left available. Finally, they'll get some kills going their way, but it's Cykul who gets away with the camo once more. That's 2 in a row now for Shopify.
Let's see how he plays this. Nades are coming in behind him. Knows he needs to skedaddle. And skedaddle he does. Stays alive up top, and he's going to have a lot of info here.
Premium skedaddling. Lucid taking down a no shields. Lucid extremely annoyingly does not want to die and still survives long enough. But here comes LastShot now. That's a triple kill for him. SnakeBite! Had to hit the big shots to deny the overkill, but it's going to be 4 dead again for SSG.
Yeah, nicely done by Royal 2 through the shroud. Just kind of pre-fires there and catches some ankles, knowing the routing that SnakeBite would be taking. Make sure to clean that up without any extra added mess, which is very, very well done.
Well, Shopify take this game over at the moment and sit inside of this second hill. Let's jump into the comms with Shopify and see what the plan is.
Look on me. Preston, I got him. I hit him.
Shock is coming up.
Look on me. Too long. One guy, mid-bridge now. Bottom now. Single stack.
Shock is up now.
Okay, C-plat. Two, C-plat. Got me. C-jump right now. C-jump 1 hit.
Two in hill.
Two in hill right now. C-jump weak. I'm going bottom mid.
They have shock. Spawner has shock.
One shot, strip stack, guys, and C-plat.
Watch out for shock.
Grapple spawned and Needler. C-plat now. One hit. Look at Needler, guys. We got needles and we got bottom BR. Bottom BR right now. Challenge. Sack, challenge. 3 shot stack. So bottom BR. He's going orange. Make bottom BR. Top here. Two on me.
Grappling out.
Needler dead in mid-bridge. You never cut him bottom turret.
Yeah, he's missing.
He wants actually some shit. Okay, C button. Stacks on it. One on me, help me.
Camo 20.
He's single.
You're good, Brad.
I'm here, Brad.
Watch out.
I'm going long.
Nice.
We got single, never die. I'm gonna get up. He's on, I'm long, glass. Play for the camo.
Camo.
Guys. Drop. Good. Wait, single.
He's big door.
Yeah, got it. Nice, holy fuck.
What's camo, Brad? What camo person?
Wait, we're gonna turn me in. Turn me in. Turn
Long
hold this single box, guys. Single box.
Yeah, bottom mid, coming.
Single one is one.
Cameras burn, right? Yeah, burn.
We got bottom here. He's main.
2-0 for Shopify Rebellion, and just from the listening as well, and just the little minute moments that we're seeing, the play calls you're starting to hear come through. It's like, wrap through for camo. I'm going to step out. We're going to burn a little bit of time off the clock. They had so much control of the map that they had so many easy decisions that they just felt like they could make.
Yeah, beautiful game management once again. And to be honest, I think Royal 2 only stepped in the hill to ensure camo. They got camo control, so Cykul was down there bottom middle. In the end, they burned camo as well. Otherwise, they might have even milked and waited a bit longer. But as you say, that'll now be 2-0. But very, very impressive hill progress already coming in from your third hill on SSG, about to close it out.
Pressure already onto Lucid as well. Just players going to be flying at him. Does a good job to survive. Knows that Cykul is going to be weak. He's backed up all the way to the long haul though, and now he's chasing some shadows himself. Walks up behind Royal 2, gives him a little back smack, and it looks like SSG will answer back. An almost flawless hill from them.
I mean, has that been the story of the day so far or what? Just back and forth, non-stop, like tug-of-war Halo, where you have, the second you have leads that have even felt huge. Let's think about Shopify on Fortress Bomb. Let's think about earlier games we saw from Optic Gaming as well, where teams feel like they're absolutely about to close it out, and right away, they just bounce right back, and just like that, what was a very comfortable 2-0 game is now 2-1 immediately, with almost no game time lost.
Yeah, still a lot of time left on the clock for Spacestation to tie this one up. Like the way that Lucid's played this, by the way. He's been extremely patient. I think one thing that just, you're being hypercritical about Lucid in the offseason, I think he's been a little bit too
Enemy team took the hill.
ready to re-engage into fights where he's not had his shields, tries to look for that last headshot, jiggles for it. But just the patience he showed there now rewards him with a little bit of a killing spree. So he's starting to pick up a little bit of form here. SSG, not going to be easy to step into this next hill, of course, as we know it is going to be pretty difficult one to hold unless you have some kills that go in your way with it being a little bit exposed. But a 2-1, the game certainly is on for them now.
Yeah, it was 3 dead. They're a big bounce back from Lucid. You saw prior to that killing spree did not have the most impressive numbers, but it goes without saying just how big of a run he had to lead to that hill control, and essentially the same exact minute progress for both teams here in your fourth hill.
Royal 2 is just so obnoxious. Turns, hits the G slide, makes those shots so difficult for Royal 2 to hit, for StelluR to hit onto Royal 2. And now we have a minute already elapsed off of that hill from the last time we talked about it. It looks like Shopify Rebellion are happy to play time here.
Yeah, they really are. And now you start to see how it's working in their favor. Royal 2 gonna skid out of the back. Try to help from the window as well now. Frosty is the first to fall, so Spacestation with an opportunity here to hold.
Do have their feet inside of that hill. Royal 2 trying to poke for the mid-bridge as Cykul's just looking for angles, looking for damage. They know that Eco's essentially someone who's spawned out at the moment. Cykul finally finds him. He knew he was a danger, he knew he was a threat, and now they can move forward.
Like this. Ooh, might even get the extra kill. They will eventually trade out, so they keep 2 dead for SSG. 1 minute left on the clock. They're going to look to play time here.
Frosty didn't know that SnakeBite was on the sneaky there. But knowing about it is one thing!
The shots.
SnakeBite just got put on his back by his ex-teammate. That was disgusting. The jiggle peek into the chow. Frosty is the most difficult kill.
And not done yet. Continues dealing damage. They want nothing to do with the hill and everything to do with these kills. They know StelluR's bottom C stairs. Good damage. Just like that, 30 seconds left on the game clock.
One dead here for Shopify Rebellion though. Numbers all up for Spacestation. They're inside of that hill. Cykul, no shields, but somehow, like he always does, somehow still manages to stay alive. There's no way he gets away with that. StelluR finally takes him down. Royal 2 picks up another one onto StelluR. Lucid's trying to chase him down, but Royal 2 with the grapple is once again just being a nuisance. Time a factor though, 13 seconds left on that game clock.
It was a delayed 3 dead. This is not impossible, but they will need to continue slaying, and they will need to hold here. LastShot falls. Frosty's also a staggered death, and SnakeBite with the camo. This could happen right here. They need to get the first damage here and the first picks.
First pick is going to come in from SnakeBite. Had no idea there was another player behind him in the tower though.
Did not see the second player.
That's got to be a miscom somewhere along the line from Spacestation, and from having the camo, having control, they find themselves
4 dead.
4 dead, and there is no one close enough to get in this hill now. The game is done. The series is done. And SSG in those final moments, you feel like have no one to blame but themselves.
Definitely something to look back at, and maybe the players in Hydro did not get the eyes on the player that was in control. Stairs, of course, with observer mode, we can see that. Maybe an easy play call for us to make. and they did not have the sightlines we expected them to have, but you have to think, as you say, that could have gone differently in the end. A few things for them to work on. Still a lot to be proud of for the side of SSG in terms of the day, but Shopify will eliminate SSG from the tournament.
SSG place third at the Kaysan Showdown. As now we will see Shopify Rebellion with a chance to go into our grand finals in our best of 7 for a little bit of revenge against Optic Gaming, who reverse swept them earlier today in the series previous. Now, no bracket reset, something to highlight for our grand final here is a straight best of 7. So for Shopify Rebellion, the road a little bit more simple as we take a look at some stats from the last game.
Take a look at any outliers here. Really, it's just Cykul. 14-8, kind of really the standout performance in terms of overall KD going +6. In the end, it's LastShot. What do we say? He's the damage guy, and he's going to continue to put up the most damage in many of the games he plays. Get used to that. 5,400 for him.
So Shopify Rebellion book their spot in the grand final as we take a look at some of the highlights of that previous game. But I think it's a very similar story from what we saw. By the way, I don't know what was stranger, the contortionist act that Frosty put on before the game started,
Maybe equally strange.
or pre-firing the small box with the green gun.
But pre-fires it as he hits like a nerdy kind of ceiling jump bump where he's not even visible during any of it.
We talk about internal, I talk about internal clocks a lot, right, of players, like expecting players to be in certain spots at certain times. That is the definition of the perfect internal clock.
Just, to see a player around.
Which I have to say very carefully.
Yep. I'm glad you are. On stacks and C-Plat, to see a player like that, this was the play from Frosty, just absolutely coming back for the challenge. A beautiful kill. Here was the play we were talking about. And there could have been extra damage at control for sure. Instead, though, unfortunate series of events crumbles, which kind of sums up really the series there for SSG. They will fall in the end, 250 to 111, 50 to 40. And a performance that was certainly the closest of the series in King of the Hill Recharge, but a lot to look at. Let's not forget, you heard what Lucid said. I think it's important to end SSG's run with those words. And Lucid, I mean, I've never, like I said, I've never seen him take that tone or kind of even that body language where he was saying, trust me, watch this team. And he's, he's undoubtedly sick of kind of what he's hearing online about people doubting them, and despite what they've accomplished in their careers. So I think we will heed his advice and certainly be excited to see what this team is able to do.